Now, Channel 9 Eyewitness News Daybreak continues.
This morning, a Florida community is heartbroken.
Valentine's Day, everyone was happy, spreading love, and it just crashed down so quick.
A former student accused of killing 17 people at a high school.
I just ran and I had my book bag on my back just in case I got shot from the back.
New this morning, the inspiring stories of heroes who risked their lives to save students from the gunfire.
Taking in kids and yelling to kids in the hallway to get inside.
Such a heartbreaking story. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Brittany Johnson.
And I'm John Paul. Just an awful story out of Florida. We have new video just ahead as parents were able to reunite with their kids.
We're going to get to all of that soon, but first at 6:30, we're going to get a check on your first forecast with meteorologist Keith Monday in Severe Weather Center 9. The weather is somewhat of a bright spot for us today, Keith.
We're going to see a warmer day out there today, although it's very gray this morning, and there are a couple sprinkles out there on Lively Warning Doppler 9. Southeast Charlotte down toward Matthews, Hemby Bridge, Indian Trail, Stowling. You should get some light rain here. It's mostly sprinkles for the most part, drifting east pretty quickly. It's actually moving at over 40 miles an hour. Other than a few sprinkles in town, the rain chance is mainly in the mountains today. Steadier light showers will be off and on up here from time to time, so keep the umbrellas with you into those high country areas. And look at these numbers. Everybody in the metro is still close to 60. The high yesterday was 60. We have not moved all night last night through this morning, so we have a great base to start with, which means a really warm day ahead. Back in the mid-70s, we'll get more sunshine this afternoon. But ahead, we'll discuss, well, yes, we may be close to records for the next few days. That will not last. A little more of a chill is coming in for the weekend. Now let's get you out on the roads here. 6:31. What's the latest, Mark?
Traffic building out of right now Lake Norman and Cornelius. Looking at 77 around Catawba Avenue. Still no big issues as far as slowdowns here. A little further south out towards Huntersville. You'll see a pocket or two as we head towards rush hour traffic this morning. But want to go a little further north on 77 where we're starting to see some bigger delays form. Still not major, but you can see it here. Northbound 77 just past the Troutman exit, US 21. We do have an accident here. You can see the red. No real alternate route needed. If you want to jump on 21, if you're heading up towards Statesville, you can. But again, we mentioned some of these pockets of congestion, 77 down and around Cornelius heading in from Lake Norman right now. Our drive time should be about 31 miles per hour, about the slowest we're seeing. John?
Now we return to our coverage of that school shooting in Parkland, Florida.
17 people died and 14 others are injured after a suspected gunman opened fire. We have a live look for you outside of the Broward County Jail. This is where 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz is now in custody. He will face a judge today. New for Daybreak, Eyewitness News anchor Blaine Tollison is in the Breaking News Center learning more about stories of heroism and bravery. Blaine.
Yeah, this is assistant football coach Aaron Fives, who was also a security guard at Stoneman Douglas High School. And witnesses told the Miami Herald that Fives jumped in front of a group of students and took several bullets in order to protect them. One student saw the coach moments before.
I saw the two kids run out of the building, and then I'm close with Mr. Fives, so he kept waving at me to leave.
Sadly, we've learned Coach Fives has died at the hospital. Authorities have not named the 16 other victims. They are still working to identify some of the students that didn't have their book bags or IDs with them. We have new video to show you overnight, though, of worried parents finally reuniting with their children who survived the shooting. The school is closed for the rest of the week, and grief counselors are available to anyone. The community certainly has a long road of healing ahead. Just last year, Parkland was named the safest city in Florida. Now, of course, everyone who lives there is impacted by this tragedy, especially the young witnesses.
It would never be something that I expected in my life. Douglas is one of the safest schools, and they make sure that you're safe on campus. I would have never expected it to happen.
Sad to see these kids going through this. That student still waiting to hear from some of her friends who are missing right now. Brittany.
Just so tragic. Thank you, Blaine. Now, just last night, the Florida Panthers hockey team held a moment of silence for the victims. Some American Olympians also dedicated their performances to those victims. Channel 9 has also learned that chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team, they're going to the area to offer prayer and support.
And of course, everyone here at Channel 9 is thinking about those families this morning. The Broward County Sheriff's Department will be giving its next update at 10:30 this morning. We will be live streaming that at WSOCTV.com. The former Mecklenburg County Health Department nurse who helped uncover last year's pap smear scandal is now suing the county.
This is a major story we followed since the department failed to notify women about their abnormal results. Eyewitness News reporter Gina Esposito is live now. Gina, the new lawsuit shows the problems may have started years before that.
Yeah, former nurse for the Mecklenburg County Health Department, Natalie Nicholson, filed a lawsuit last week after she said she experienced harassment, retaliation, and a hostile work environment. In the documents uncovered by Channel 9, Nicholson claims in 2013 she reported that her coworker wasn't submitting critically important data to state agencies. The lawsuit says this resulted in retaliation and the county being forced to return $250,000 to a state governing body. Nicholson says she received negative annual reviews, reassignment, more work, and isolation from staff. She also says she was forced to work in an off-site location with a kitchen table as a desk, no printer, and no office supplies. Commissioner Pat Cotham said she expected fallout after the county failed to notify 185 women about abnormal pap results. She said changes are still being made at the health department.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's going to take a lot of people working collaboratively with a lot of transparency.
When we reached out to the county manager's office, we were told that they don't comment on pending litigation. Live in West Charlotte, I'm Gina Esposito, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
The scandals caused local leaders to lose faith in former director Marcus Plesha. He resigned last June after 3 years on the job. An audit of the department in the aftermath exposed widespread problems. It recommended sweeping changes to policy, structure, and medical records. It could cost millions in taxpayer dollars and years to implement. Now, you can find our extensive investigations into the Mecklenburg County Health Department on our website, WSOCTV.com.
6:36, and for the first time, Channel 9 cameras were allowed inside discussions that could impact the future of the controversial I-77 toll lanes. The advisory committee will recommend what to do with the project. It's looking at 6 options. Most call for canceling the toll contract. The cost depends on when a decision is made, but we learned it could cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Whenever all these decisions are made, it's always the taxpayers. It's always us. We're always the ones that foot the bill.
The advisory committee will meet again next week. Once it makes its recommendation, the final decision will be up to the DOT secretary and the governor.
6:36 right now. President Donald Trump is urging fellow Republicans to look into a 25-cent gas tax hike. It's something we haven't seen since 1993. The Washington Post reports the president floated the idea during a meeting yesterday. The hike could help fund his $200 billion infrastructure plan contained in the budget. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, a business lobbying group, says the proposal would generate $394 billion. The idea of raising the federal gas tax has not been a popular one. Right now, the national gas tax is 18.4 cents a gallon. The North Carolina gas tax is 35.1 cents a gallon, while South Carolina's is 18 cents a gallon, and it will go up another 2 cents in July. Now, the U.S. Chamber says it's important to fix crumbling roads and bridges because it costs Americans and businesses almost $40 a month in maintenance costs. We have posted much more information on the proposed gas tax hike, including how it would be phased in for drivers. Just search for this story on WSOCTV.com.
Today, 2 people will face a judge while 3 others are on the run after a Huntersville home invasion. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Barber is live for us to break down the frightening moments for the victims. Mark.
And John, one of those victims was a woman who was brutally beaten with a baton and kicked in the head and the face. Now, those 2 suspects accused of hurting her will walk into the courthouse here today to stand before a judge. Here are the 2 suspects accused in this vicious beating. Channel 9 checked, and neither Sabron Thompson of Charlotte or Jameel Blackwell of Mooresville have criminal records. Police say they broke into the Landings Drive apartment complex right around the corner from the popular Birkdale Village shopping center on Tuesday night. Officers tell Channel 9 they robbed a man at gunpoint and viciously beat a woman before running off. The woman was hurt so severely she had to be hospitalized for her injuries.
You start kind of wondering if this is actually a place that you ought to be.
Now, as the 2 suspects in this case prepared to stand before a judge here at the courthouse today, officers this morning are continuing to search for 3 other people of interest in this case. live here outside the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Mark Barb, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
An iconic South Park church will start selling off its belongings today before it's demolished later this year. Sharon United Methodist Church, also known as the Ski Slope Church, is having an estate sale. Starts this morning at 9 o'clock. It'll run until 4 Saturday afternoon. A hotel, apartments, shops, and a new church are all planned for that site after the old church building is torn down.
I have a sweet story to share with you this morning. 150 paratroopers got to spend Valentine's Day with their families after returning home to Fort Bragg. Take a look at this. The paratroopers spent 7 months in Afghanistan. One of them, Staff Sergeant John Pass, he pulled off quite the surprise for his daughter.
I was so excited. I just wanted to go up there and cry. I wanted to go and hug him and cry because I have not seen him for like 2 years.
What an awesome surprise for those soldiers and their families. Just gotta love that. Big smiles there. Your time is now at 6:40. Weather might put a smile on some folks' faces out there.
Will, especially if you like warm temperatures, Keith.
Yeah, it's already very mild this morning. We haven't really cooled down from yesterday. We're still near 60. Look at all the warmth to our west. Those strong red wind arrows coming our way. We get a nice warm up coming in today and tomorrow, but a little more of that chill that's just off to our north could return as we wind our way to the upcoming weekend. We'll talk about that timing plus the increasing chance for rain again as we get to those weekend plans. That's coming up here in the next 10 minutes. But first, let's get you back here on the roads, 20 minutes until 7.
Possible injury crash that we're heading to will be we're just moments away of Eastway near Kilbourne Drive. Just coming into the traffic center, we're also learning of a serious crash up in Salisbury, Rowan County, Mooresville Road. That's Highway 150, halfway between Mill Bridge Road and Miller Road, where an accident took out 2 power poles and 2 transformers. Duke reporting nearly 400 outages in the area. I would avoid it, but there's really no easy way around it, unfortunately.